everybody, it's Abby, live in the flesh this time. I just finished editing my blog post on describing my role. I found out that when I got my role, not many people knew what it was. It wasn't a very popular role. So a lot of people thought I was being a bellman when they saw bell services. My mom even thought for a long time I was going to be a bellhop. Not what it is. So I'm here to kind of clarify that. I also want to say some opinions, all mine, not all Disney. I actually really enjoy my job. It's not exactly the hardest work, and there's few CPs. There's 10 of us total, and that's with 2 of them being transferred from the Grand Floridian. We're only supposed to have 6 to 8 CPs between my 2 locations, Saratoga Springs and Old Key West. Whereas some places in merchandise or attractions or quick service, you might have 40 or more CPs in your same role in your same area, just because there's more shifts that need to be covered and all that good stuff. But it's been fun. I'm enjoying it. Like I said, it's not necessarily the most difficult job. It's really what you make of it, and it's really great. Even though there's not that many CPs, I've gotten to really get to know some of the bellmen and some of the cast members who have been working here a long time, and that's been invaluable to me, be able to talk to people who've been in the company for 20 years or more. Someone who works in the back office I've talked to has worked with, who was actually mentioned in an interview with the old CEO before he left. So really cool stuff like that. Now into the actual description of the role. I am Bell Service Dispatch / Greeters, my official title at Old Key West and Saratoga Springs resorts. Those are both vacation club resorts, so everything's going to vary. What I tell you between locations, like I know for example, just in the environment in general, that most places for dispatching you'll be inside. If you're not inside, you're in a booth with air conditioning. I know that's not the case for Old Key West. You're outside in a booth and it's still under the shade, but it's not air conditioned or anything like that. So that's a little downside to when I get shifts there, but not too bad so far. So anyway, about dispatching, you pretty much just take work orders and tell bellman where to go. So you take work orders via the phone, via bellman telling you there's a check-in that they just talked to, or the greeters telling you there's a check-in or an escort. You also call taxis and give out taxi vouchers for those who are golfing. So we have one of the golf courses, Lake Buena Vista Golf Course, is actually on Saratoga Springs property. So we often give we have a lot of golfers that come on, and we give golf vouchers to the Palm, Magnolia, and Oak Trails over there, so that they do not have to pay for the taxi. Another thing is, the main thing actually about dispatching is telling bellman where to go. So once you've done those taxi calls, that's totally separate. But once you get the work orders, you either put them in the system or you write them down on a piece of paper. I know a lot of places that are smaller properties, so they put everything into the system that we have, into the Kinger system, and send it to the bellman's radio. Some can even do automatic dispatching. So you just have to make sure you kind of keep an eye and make sure everyone is in rotation properly. For us, we're busier. Especially Saratoga is a fairly large property with a lot of larger rooms. All of our rooms are actually villas, so they all have at least 2 rooms, so they fit large families. And so we have more escorts, we have more check-ins that we need to take care of. So it goes by a little bit quicker, and it's easier for some people to write it down on a piece of paper and prioritize the work orders that way, have it physically in front of you. I don't care either way. I just adhere to whoever I'm working with, how they prefer to do things. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Dispatching, taking work orders, telling them where to go. Within this, you'll have a lot of loose ends. You get a lot of housekeeping phone calls. You get complaints about people calling about where's my bags from Magical Express. It's nothing really you have control over. You can look in the system, it was last scanned here, it's at the resort, I actually just sent a billman out, it should be there soon, whatever it is, as far as housekeeping or groceries, because we also have grocery deliveries that we do from outside companies or from ECVs or strollers. We also keep those at the bus stand, besides the bus stand. You just have to tell them to work with the company, or if the groceries are missing, to just call the company. It's really out of your hands. People get upset, but it's part of the job. People are going to get upset at you. It happens. Then now onto the greeter part of the dispatching greeter/greeter role. A lot of places don't actually have the greeter role. Part of the bus services, a lot of places don't actually have it. It's just dispatching. Sometimes greeter is sort of the lobby greeter, which is in front desk. But for us, we actually do have the greeter role. That's what most of the CPs actually do. You get a lot of shifts in greeting, which isn't bad. There's some perks to it. You get to interact with guests more. You give stickers out to little kids. It's fun. A big part of that is greeting guests off of the Magical Express, the bus that takes people to and from the airport free of charge. And with that, you just say, hello, welcome home. It's our vacation club slogan, I guess you could say. Welcome home. Do you need any assistance with your luggage? Direct people to either, if they've already checked in and they got the message on their phone saying your room's ready, this is what it is. You can say, you can either direct them if they don't have any bags, or even if they don't have any bags and they want a bellman to take them, you're like, here, let me go, I'll help you find a bellman and we'll take you to your room. Or you direct them to check in so that they can get that taken care of. Part of the greeter shift also is handling tips. We are technically a non-tipped position, but it just depends on how you manage things. It depends on your leaders and how it's been. Personally, at our location, how it's handled, and I think all the leaders are really aware of it, is you have to give it to bellman first. So if you're offered a tip, you don't want to say, no, I can't take that, because the costumes are very similar to the bellman's, and we don't want them to say, oh, the bellman can't accept tips either, because that's how they make their living. They work off of tips. So what we do is we take it, it's just to be nice and be polite about everything, say thank you, but you can't put it in your pocket or anything. You either put in an envelope for a bellman, or if there's a bellman around or comes up after you've taken it, because usually if you're helping someone, it's because there are no bellmen around to do that. You give it to them. The bellman, a lot of the times the bellman will give it back to you or split the tip with you because you did the work, especially if it's a good day. If they're having a good day, they'll usually give it back to you. Sometimes if it's slower, they really appreciate it if you give them their tips. Like I said, that's how they make their money, so don't get greedy in it. But yeah, it's part of it. And a lot of times when you're being given a tip, it's because I've done it for calling up taxis for people, but mostly it's when you store or grab luggage. And so when you store luggage, you actually have a white ticket. So you have, actually, one second. You actually have these. So what this is you write down, it's a way of identifying their bags. So you write down their name, how many bags they have, so you make sure it's all stored together and you're not missing anything. And if they're a check-in, check-out, room change, or transfer. And so you rip this bottom half off, you give it to them as a receipt, you put this on whatever bag you have, good to go, you store it. They give you this receipt later if they want to retrieve their bags, and you do that. If they give you this receipt and there's a bellman around, you give it to the bellman because it's a tipping opportunity. Pretty simple, and that's pretty much all there is to the greeter part. There are two other little things that go along with the role. One of them is transfers. So I personally cannot do transfers because it requires driving a company vehicle, and I am not a licensed driver. And they were very adherent to, I talked to Maria, who is our manager who is in charge of scheduling, and she's been very good. She's just said, I'll keep it in the back of my mind. You'll never be scheduled for a shift that requires you to do transfers. And it's been all set and good to go. But pretty much what you do is when you give transfers, we have color-coded tags depending on the area the resort is in. We tag every single piece of luggage, any items they have individually, and transfers happen between 1 and 4 typically. So around noon is when noon to 12:30, we usually send out our transfer van. We fill it up, send it out to whatever resorts we have. Pretty self-explanatory. Another part of it is breaking DME, which is the Disney's Magical Express, and that area is where all the bags come from the airport. So when you get a cage, which is probably about, I'm 5'9", it's probably a little taller than me, and that's including the wheels at the bottom. So it's probably maybe about 6 foot. Sometimes you get these things full, sometimes they have 2 bags in them. But you organize the luggage within them depending on the name that they have on these yellow tags that they put on them before when they check them into the airport. These tags are sent with their magic bands and everything when you plan your vacation. So it's already taken care of so that you don't have to worry about your bags. It's great service, especially if you are coming in early and you want to go to the parks, and that way when you come back, your bag's already there. Although one thing is that they do come 3 to 5 hours after you arrive at the resort. So a lot of times we get angry guests who it's been exactly 3 hours and they call because their kids don't have their pajamas and it's 10 o'clock and they're really grumpy. Always pack things in your carry-ons. It's out of our hands, I could say, especially with certain companies. Southwest doesn't let us handle the luggage directly. They send out their luggage. They dispatch it separately than all the other ones, than all the other airlines that participate. So there's nothing we can do about it. It's 3 to 5 hours, like I said. But anyways, back on topic. For the DME, you pretty much just take down the truck number, the cage number, you scan everything, all the luggage, you go onto another computer system we have that looks up the reservation for the guest. So you look up their last name and it gives you your room number. You write down the room number, and you write down the room number on all the yellow tags I mentioned before, so that the bellman knows how to where to go to deliver those bags. And you pretty much call up to the dispatchers, say, hey, I need a bellman, and as soon as we can, as long as we have a bellman available, we send that bellman out, and then they end up in your room, which is great. So yeah, that's the role for bell service dispatch. I hope this is helpful for anyone who is like me, who is a little bit clueless as to what you would be doing when you accepted this role. I know I just accepted, like, hey, I'm going to Disney, yay. But that's it. Like I said, I've really enjoyed it. And another little quick announcement, I guess, for since I'm talking about roles, is I actually applied to and I got my extension for attractions. So I accepted it, paid my fees and everything. I'll be staying here through the summer working in attractions. So I'm very excited about that. I'll let you know more about that, and I might make another one of these very awkward videos, so I don't know how to edit properly, so this is what you're getting. But maybe I'll make another one describing my location there once I get into it. Although, it's taking me 3 months, so may or may not happen. So, bye everyone.